Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Harrison Byron, the Millennial Entrepreneur. Now, in this video, I want to talk to you guys about how to drive more traffic to your website and ultimately what avenue is going to be best for you to go do this, to go achieve that goal. Well, if you don't know by now, traffic typically means more sales. Now, this is not always the case, this is never guaranteed. However, a large majority of the time, more traffic to your website means more sales. And ultimately, you have two routes. You can either one, create it internally, or two, hire a marketing company. So which one are you going to pick? Well, I'm going to ask you some questions, and hopefully some of these questions will shed some light on whether or not you should either create it yourself or hire a marketing company, and how much money are you really going to save by either hiring a marketing company or doing it yourself? Because that's a massive question that most people think like, oh, I can't hire a marketing company. It's too expensive. And most of the time, they don't realize that it's really not that expensive when you look at it in the not only in the right frame of mind, because it sounds like I'm teeing you up for something that you're not ready for, but really, if you had to dedicate the amount of time, energy, and effort to do the same amount of work a marketing company was going to do for you, is it really worth it? And I hope that this sheds some light on it. So think to yourself, are you a content creator, right? And chances are pretty good if you're watching this, you might say no. And some of you may say yes, right? And if you are, that's phenomenal. You're already on the right track to doing it yourself. But you have to figure out what is the avenue that you are most comfortable with. Is it video or is it written, right? There's really only two, maybe three ways that you could really get into into people's mind here. It's audio where people are going to be listening. It's video where people are going to be watching, and then it's written where somebody can actually read it. There's no other way to somehow get information into somebody's mind and ultimately help them either learn, teach or anything like that. So if you are not that, if you're not sure, then you need to take a step back and say, hey, are you comfortable with it? Now, a lot of people I know say, no, there's no way I could be on video. But then I go on my cell phone and I see that they have a huge Instagram following and they're fine on video. They just don't know how to do long form videos. Well, let me tell you, that is something that you can work on and improve. I'm currently going through a 120-day challenge to make myself better on video and ultimately create a hugely massive amount of content that's going to show YouTube that I'm dedicated to the process. Now, on the flip side of things, you could do written content. Written content is phenomenal because now you don't have to worry so much about video and you could go in and type everything up. Typically, your blogs and articles are going to be somewhere in the 750 up to the 2,000-ish word range. The reason why this is important is because if you write a one paragraph answer to, hey, what does a marketing company do? Let me tell you, Google's never going to show your stuff. So you want to make sure that you answer those questions in completeness, because if you don't, then chances are pretty good Google's never going to see, they will see your stuff, but Google's not going to show it out to anybody because Google knows that there's other people out there that are writing, what does a marketing company do, right? And there's all of these sections inside of your article or inside of other people's articles that proves to Google, hey, this is a expert in what they do and what you need to know. So if that's something that you're capable of doing and you were a rock star back in college or high school and you could write all day long, then I highly recommend going to do that because it is something. And the reason why I'm mentioning these main two to you is because they work for you 24 hours and 7 days a week. You have to be committed to it, but if this is something that piques your interest and you say, hey, you know what, I could go be a content creator, right? These videos take anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes to make for me because I'm pretty comfortable on video. It's not that difficult. But for many other people, that's not the case. And they're not comfortable on video or they're going to mess it up. Now, if you feel like you could be good at something, then go give it a shot. I would say commit to a 30-day challenge where you're doing it every day for 30 days. Now, here's where it makes sense. And you're probably wondering, hey, Harrison, you left out a third one. Podcasts are a phenomenal way to get in front of a new audience and ultimately to deliver a message. However, podcasts are not very searchable. It's just the nature of the beast. Creating a podcast, I have a podcast, it's called the Brutally Honest Podcast, and the biggest problem with it is I was extremely consistent for years. I've slowed down now because I've just recently moved, and I'm not seeing people because there's a pandemic going on. But something to consider is there's really no way for anybody to search what it is, right? On YouTube, you can put your content up there. You can write a little description. You can go in there. You can add tags. You can add a thumbnail, right? And when you type everything out, Google can read that. Somebody's going to search a query on Google, and ultimately Google may actually show out your stuff. But on podcasting, that doesn't exist. So that's why so many podcasters struggle. And ultimately, if you're going to use a podcast, it's not a bad platform, but you might want to couple it with YouTube or Google as well to help you grow your podcast. But ultimately, if any of those are interesting to you, then you might be a content creator. I actually really do enjoy creating content. I don't particularly love writing content, but I know that I can make videos very easily because I'm very comfortable in front of a camera. Now, it's kind of weird because I'm just looking at a little ring with a camera in there, but I know that this is one of the platforms that I'm comfortable with, and I could progressively make more content. Now, on the flip side of things, should you hire a marketing company, and ultimately, is it something that's worth it? Well, if I tell you that, hey, in the beginning, your videos are going to take 1 to 2 hours every single time you do it, especially for the next 30 days to help you really grow, and 30 days is just to dip your toes in to see if it's worth it to you, then let's say your time is valued at $100 an hour. That's going to be 30 to 60 hours over the next month for you to create all the content. Whereas if you're hiring a marketing company to either do something or really create content that's hyper-focused and all that kind of stuff, chances are pretty good you're looking at spending anywhere between $2,000 up to about $5,000. Now, if we use the $100 an hour mark at your time value, right, so every hour of work that you do, you could be billing $100 an hour for, you might be saving up to about $3,000 because you're constantly creating that content. And that's $100 an hour for 30 hours. Now, it could be up to the $6,000 mark if you're, as time goes on, you're going to get better. It's just the nature of the beast. It's natural, right? The first videos, I remember when I released my first YouTube videos, shaking. I mean, it was brutal. But now, after doing a couple hundred of them and being on other people's podcasts and all that kind of stuff, I'm very comfortable being on a YouTube channel or being online. It really makes no difference to me. So for me, it's extremely cost effective. Granted, I also do own a marketing agency, but for me, it just happens to work out where, hey, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. We can be content creation machines. We can go out there. We can create a bunch of content for us, and then ultimately distribute that content online via Google and via YouTube, which is huge because these two platforms work for you 24 hours a day. To give you an example, right, at the current time that you're watching this, I think I have about 160, I'm going to actually get the number for you, 168 subscribers, 268 subscribers, which is great. And the beautiful part about that is last night when I went to bed, or in the last 48 hours, I was able to be seen by 127 people, which is a tremendous amount of people, right? Most people would pay a fortune to get in front of 127 people for, 10 or 15 minutes, let alone I just did it while I was sleeping. And the other cool part is people watched me or consumed up to about 4 hours worth of my content just yesterday, which is huge if you really think about it. So as time goes on, this content is going to work for you. Now, why would you want to hire a marketing company in exchange for that? Well, look, I get it. Not everybody has the time to go dedicate to this, and you might be making more money than your time might be worth more than $150 an hour, right? So that $3,000 to $5,000 range now becomes feasible because your time is so worth it to you, right? Because that's how you're growing, that you might need to go hire a marketing company to go fill in the cracks because you can't do the marketing, right? Marketing should never stop. Anybody that stops marketing is going to die. If you ask, I think it was Bill Gates, he said, somebody said, hey, if we took all your money away and we left you with $1,000, what would you do? He goes, I'm pretty sure it was him. He goes, I'm spending every dollar I have in marketing, right? Because you're building up your customer base and constantly creating new stuff where people can then find you. So if that makes sense to you and you're too busy, but you're making a lot of money, you need to go hire a marketing company. Now, I don't particularly care who you hire. Hire somebody local, hire a specialist, whatever it may be. If you want, you're welcome to go check out my company, growth-generators.com. But ultimately, that is the time that you need to figure out and say, hey, should I go get this marketing company? Yes. And ultimately, a lot of these companies are going to tailor a custom plan to you. The only thing I ask is if you've made it this far in the video, is whoever you decide to hire, go interview between 3 and 5 of their existing clients that have been with them for 6 months to about a year and a half. Because those people are going to give you feedback of what they like, what they don't like, and anything like that. And I welcome that in my own company and things like that. And it's not uncommon for educated buyers to say, hey, can you give me a couple references? I really want to see what you're doing and working on. Now, those references are obviously going to be good people, but ultimately, that is going to be something that's going to help you tremendously make an educated decision, understand whether or not you should be creating content yourself or hiring somebody else to help you make that content, and how you grow your business down the road. So I hope this video makes sense. It's kind of a contrast between whether or not you should be a content creator and then how do you hire a marketing company if you're not a content creator. I encourage everybody, even if you're not, or even if you're going to hire a marketing company, go try to create some of the content yourself. You'd be shocked at not how easy it is, but you might actually enjoy it. So maybe you can't commit to making 30 videos or 120 videos in 120 days, which is what I'm doing, but maybe you could commit to one video every other week, and that is just going to help compound over time to help you grow your business, help you grow your brand, and ultimately succeed against your competitors. So my name is Harrison Barron, the Millennial Entrepreneur. You know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you never miss another opportunity, and I'll see you guys in the next video. If you're creating content, best of luck, and if you're hiring somebody, go do your homework, please. I'll see you guys later.